My name is Ray Salazar, and this is Morning Real. If I see it, I review it. This is a 3 to 4 to 100-minute or so podcast of films that I review from 1825 to 2025. Black and white to Technicolor, infrared, opposites, whatever you name it, man. From Africa to America. We're all love, man. We're all one. Now, who doesn't love smoking weed on a Friday with no job, not having any shit to do? Well, in the case of the film Friday, not in Ice Cube's case. Anyways, I love Friday. Friday's a cool franchise. Shaun, one of my favorite Friday is Friday After Next. It's my favorite Friday, and it's very similar when you like think about it and all that shit. But I don't know. It's just something about Friday After Next that kind of like sticks with me more. I think maybe because of the cast, bigger names and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah,
but Friday is where it started. Friday is where you have all the iconic lines, the iconic roles, and the people behind it too. Like honestly, if it wasn't for Ice Cube and DJ Pooh, let's just go back. If it wasn't for DJ Pooh, period, the shit would not have existed.
I mean, if you look at DJ Pooh, I mean, look what he's did with Friday, and then he did Three Strikes. He did The Wash, which is another hood classic to me, and also DJ Pooh wrote a little video game called Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Oh shit! How did it do?
It's probably one of the biggest games of all time.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he wrote San Andreas, and I believe he wrote parts of Grand Theft Auto 5.
10 penny.
So yeah, so it's like when you play in the game San Andreas and you seeing like 10 penny and stuff, it's like, well, that's DJ Pooh. So I mean, look at the soundtrack itself. I mean, you had Julio G, one of the legends of LA DJs here. Much respect to you. Shout out to Julio G.
Sure.
I mean, he's doing West Side Radio on there, so it's like, come on, man. You got Cypress Hill playing on there, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, all the classics.
You even get a fucking a shout out from B Real in the fucking game, dude, which is pretty fucking cool.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
So shout out to DJ Pooh. He and Ice Cube co-wrote Friday.
Yeah.
So Shaun, I'd like to introduce you to Shaun, man. He's one of my homies. He brought me into B-Roll TV, kind of took me under his wing, showed me the ropes and all that stuff. Not about like just B-Roll TV, but about like music, fucking tour life, how to shoot a show, how to like be out of people's ways, how to be respectful, and how to be humble.
Oh, man. Thank you, man. I mean, we go way, way back. I mean, you showed me a lot too on camera techniques when I was just getting my feet wet in more of the filming aspect.
Yep.
And we had like at first I remember I was like, this kid's really quiet, and then like we just started having like common love. And I mean, one of our common loves is ironically is the band Cannibal Corpse. It's like we would sit in our studio and like just try to brainstorm, and we're like, we're bored, want to listen to Cannibal Corpse?
Yeah, man. You're the only guy in this studio to this day who still bumps Cannibal Corpse like nobody's business. And Korn. With the exception of C-. Shout out C.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all eclectic. I mean, I can go 1 minute from Cannibal Corpse and Korn to West Side Gun, Cypress Hill, Snoop Dogg, to Louis Armstrong.
Straight up.
It's just if you look at it's like I'm C-, but a black version.
B-, nah.
V-.
So Shaun, you love Friday. You've seen it about 5,000 times, supposedly.
Yeah. Yes, my favorite movie of all time.
Really? Your favorite movie of all time?
Okay. Like, if you look at comedy, that's number one.
Okay.
Overall, number one, I mean, Goodfellas Casino's tied at number two because Scorsese is just Scorsese and he's amazing.
Goodfellas is hardcore.
Yeah, hardcore. So, I mean, I remember watching Friday for the first time on bootleg, and it was a different cut.
No shit.
Yeah, so
what was different?
So partially was different. So what they have in the director's cut, they have like on the opening scene where Megan Good and her male friend are sitting on the porch, and Stanley, who's actually was Ice Cube's bodyguard at the time, is spraying water on the get off my lawn. There's also was another part.
Oh, so that little girl was Megan Good with the hat?
Yes, that was.
I had a fucking feeling because I'm like, who's that little like? I'm like, she looks and sounds familiar and shit.
Yeah, that was her first one. And ironically, she got the role after just dropping her headshot to the casting agency.
That's tight,
so
man.
she got it off that. Another part in that movie is when remember when Smokey and Craig have their argument about where after the whole situation with Big Worm, And so when Ice Cube's girlfriend Joy, who's played by Paula J. Parker, comes up and goes confronts Craig when he comes out of the house with Debbie, played by Nia Long.
Iconic.
Yeah, so when Smokey's kind of instigating, stirring the pot and everything.
What a fucking asshole.
Like,
dude.
I'm all like, bro, come on, man. You're breaking bro code there. Like, you can't be doing that. So when Smokey says, like, oh, I'm going to go to my mama's house, like, before the hey, come back, he goes, hey, come back. He's all right. And he goes, in the bootleg cut, Smokey goes, hey, Craig, thanks, man. Like, having his back. And that's when you see Craig in the original cut now, that you see the cut now, was to slam the door.
Yeah.
So that was, the reaction was off that.
Got it.
You know, and then, yeah, there's some other parts I'm trying to think in my head.
That's crazy. So you ended up. So, how is it that you got a bootleg with a different cut of the film?
That's just the hood, man. That was my cousin at the time. It was 95.
Oh, shit.
And
all right.
so my mom didn't want to take me to go see Friday because of that.
Of course.
And so my cousin's all like, hey, I got Friday. Like,
Wait, how old were you then, dude?
I was 12. So I was 12.
Dude, I went to see Next Friday when it came out, and I was 10.
No, and I get it, but it's funny. My mom didn't want to go see Friday, but yet it was okay for me to watch Goodfellas at 7 years old and watch Pulp Fiction at 10 years old. So
Yeah, that's a lot. Damn, that's a lot to take in.
yeah, so it's like, it's kind of interesting, but it's just like, oh no, you shouldn't watch Friday because of weed.
Come on, dude.
Yeah, mom. But now my mom just goes like, that's your favorite movie, whatever.
That's tight, man. It
Yeah.
ended up being your favorite. But why did that film in particular ended up becoming your favorite movie?
I think with me, because it has a touch with Los Angeles, and I mean, I'm a Los Angeles native via South Bay, but it's just how the comedy dynamics was, and like, I'm a big fan of comedy and comedians, and just with that movie itself, I mean, look at all the comedians you had on there. You had Bernie Mac, rest in peace. John Witherspoon, rest in peace. Chris Tucker, who was, you know, on the rise coming up there. You had Faison Love. You had AJ Johnson, who played Ezell, who was terrific funny. If you see some of the stuff like And I Got the Hookup, House Party 3, when he was at one of the what is that thing? The Butchers.
Yeah.
The Butchers, you know, like, just his comedy and stuff like that. He was in Players Club. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know, you had the legendary LaWanda Page, who played Aunt Esther in Sanford and Son. Look that up. I mean, like, she was one of the queen of the clapbacks. So when you have that whole cast, and also Ronaldo Ray, who played Red's father,
Yep.
you had Angela Means, who actually, the interesting story about how Angela Means is in that movie, who plays Felicia. She is like, in the 90s, she was like bad, like gorgeous.
Right.
And like, she was in House Party 3 playing the main love interest, and, you know, completely different how she looked in Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you had her. I mean, like, Yvette Wilson, who played Rita, you know, she was a comedian as well. So you had a lot of great cast ensemble there. The soundtrack, the aesthetic, it's just all the things that kind of reminded me growing up in the South Bay that I saw.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is so, it's so relatable, and it's still to this day I can laugh. I mean, like, look at Hector. I mean, like, everyone has a Hector in their life.
Yep.
Where it's like, you cool, but like, yeah, fuck you, dude.
Hey,
like,
we all have a Hector who looks like Hector.
yes.
Straight up.
Yes, you know, I mean, I got that one pastor friend who's like, he's all about, I'm about my church, but going down, you know, certain streets in Los Angeles, we don't say its name, Figueroa, and just, you know, looking at the eye candy out there, and it's like, you know, well, you're supposed to be by the book, brother. Like, what you being a hypocrite?
Okay, how about the dude who played the crackhead?
Ezell, that's AJ Johnson.
AJ John. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So, you know, he passed away recently. I mean, like, that
Yeah,
dude,
I heard about that.
Yeah, that dude was killing it, and like, the roles that he was in, like, he was just a great supporting actor, you know, in the comedic role. So it's just like, he was carrying on certain scenes in there. So, you know,
I don't kill, I steal.
exactly. I mean, look. I mean, speaking of that, I mean, look, you have Debo, played by Tiny Lister,
Lister, man.
who,
Rest in peace. Out of all the cast members, with the exception of John Witherspoon, Tiny Lister, man.
yeah, I mean,
Gone too soon, man.
Gone too soon. I mean, former pro wrestler as well.
Yeah.
And even with Tiny, he had an interview with Lad talking about the Debo character,
Mm-hmm.
and he said it was actually inspired by Big U. So that is very interesting. That's
Very interesting.
That's what he said. Ironically,
I can see that.
Ironically enough, I was working at a video store at the time in early 2001. So my friend and I, we just used to chill. When you're working at a video store, all you just do is watch movies, ring
Yep.
them up, restock. all that stuff, and you know, you get interesting characters. So I'm just like, we were just bored one day. I was like, yo, man, wanna go watch Friday? And we're like, yeah. And you know, this is after we took our quote unquote break. So we're like, hey, we're gonna watch Friday. And guess who walks into the store?
All right. I'm gonna fucking guess. Smokey?
No.
All right, let me get another guess. Another guess.
Okay, I'm gonna give you one more guess.
Phase on Love?
No.
All right.
Debo walks in. Tiny Lister walks in.
That'll be my fourth choice.
As the music of him his intro scene, like official one, not the one when he's knocking out Red, but like the bike scene. He's walking up, and I'm just like, oh shit. Ironically, and he's just laughing at us. It's like, you guys put this on purpose. I'm like, no, we were watching this. And, you know, it's just trippy. But he was so cool talking to me and my coworker Chris, and we were just laughing. And he was, you know, he took a picture with us. I gotta find that picture somewhere. And he was just like, yeah, this is cool. And he actually signed the VHS copy. So
That's
you know,
tight.
it's sad because I don't have that copy now. Because when I quit the video store, like 2 years later, it went out of business. So unfortunately, I didn't keep it, but I should have kept that.
Right.
You know,
I never met Tiny Lister, but he did come to my middle school when I was like in 6th or 7th grade.
right?
6th grade, actually. And he did like kind of like a speech about, like, you know, anti-violence, anti-gangs, stuff like that. You know, it wasn't like that one speech that you see on the internet where he's talking about God, like, you know, Jesus rose. That's gangster.
Yes,
shit like
the overzealous ones.
that.
Yeah.
So I remember after the fucking speech, he was outside of the auditorium because that's where it took place. And one of my schoolmates, he was this black kid. I forgot his name, dude, but he was a fucking troublemaker though. But anyways, he was giving him shit. Not really, but he was just like, where you going on my 20? And then he just like walked out. And then that fool just started laughing. I was like, you're in 6th grade, you're telling this guy? Hilarious. Anyways, you mentioned earlier how this film is a LA film. It's close to the heart. I like how the film starts, man. It obviously it starts with Smoking saying those famous words.
Right.
And then you get the smoke. Then it cuts into that shot. And it's probably one of my favorite shots of the whole fucking film, because not that it's a crane going like downwards, but the first thing you see is those wires and a pair of chucks on them.
Right.
And not only is it focused on the chucks, but you get to see the palm trees as it goes down, and then you get to see the street. And you can already fucking tell if you're an LA guy, right? This is LA. And it's great, man.
It's
like
100% LA. And
I like how films start where like it pretty much kind of tells you what the feel is without having to say anything.
right. And, you know, when you go to certain streets in LA, you'll see the palm trees. You see the wires. You see the shoes hanging on
Yeah.
there. So
That shit's real.
You know, and everything about that. I mean, look how their neighborhood is.
It's a real ass fucking neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly. And that neighborhood to this day still have people going there.
Yeah.
And, you know, taking pictures and stuff. But I actually heard, and I saw on social media, so they have a sign there on the Craig Jones family house. You can take pictures here, but you can't smoke weed here. And I'm just like, damn. I was like, how about I pay you an extra, like, you know what, they can actually get this, like, but I get it probably because maybe, you know, the smoke probably went there and all like that.
It would just burn it out.
Yeah,
literally.
you know,
Yeah.
people will just be there. You know, there'll be like probably long lines of people waiting to go smoke a joint on the porch. So I get it. So it's understandable, but it still would have been cool to smoke
Yeah.
a joint there. You know?
It's funny how you mentioned the house, right? So like I actually, on this viewing, look, man, I've seen this film a handful of times by myself with my dad, because my dad loves the Friday franchise.
Right.
Shout out to him. And it's rare for me to see that movie like from beginning to end. I usually see it in parts, or like when it's on fucking TNT or, you know, all those fucking other channels and shit. But it honestly, like, just the other day was probably like the first time where I actually sat and watched it from beginning to the end of the end credits. And it's so cool that in the end credits, I don't know who does the credits, right? But it said that, like, shout out to the families of 182nd Street between Normandy and Western and shit.
No, Hallandale Street actually,
Hallandale.
and that's
Okay, Hallandale.
Hallandale Street of 126.
Okay, 126.
So,
All right.
so yeah, so that tells you how many times I've seen the movie.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
hell
can
yeah,
see,
no, please,
I can see all the credits in here. So
It's
yeah,
my first time actually seeing that.
yeah, and what's actually we were saying about how there's I was watching a video recently about some facts about Friday, which I already knew, but they were saying the producers were and F. Gary Gray was actually his first film directing that.
Right.
They say they were getting crowds of up to like 500 people watching it on set, while the movie was making, and that movie was only made in like 20 days. So that's
Damn, that's quick, bro.
Yeah, 20 days, 3.5 million budget, and it made 8 times the budget.
You know what's crazy, man? Like, I'm not dissing on how the film was made and how long it took, right? But like, it's such a simple ass film, dude. Like a simple plot, but it's a relatable plot because I'm sure a lot of people have gone through that shit before. In different types of point of views, right?
Exactly. And when with everything like that, you're just like, you can relate to it.
Yeah.
There's nothing bad about it. I mean, like, everyone knows there's a Craig. Everyone knows there's
a Smokey.
There's a Smokey. There's a Pops who's like silly, but he's no nonsense. He's like, hey, just go on your grind, get your money, take care of your family.
Yeah.
All that stuff. You got Miss Parker. Like everybody's seen a Miss Parker. Okay?
Everybody know about Miss Parker.
Like I've seen a few Miss Parkers back in the day. All that stuff. But yeah, it's that movie is just, I can go on forever about
So you ever know a preacher who would come up to you or come up to somebody and just like kind of fiend for some weed and shit? Like, for his cataracts,
No. The preachers I know are always like, Shaun, you should give your life over to God. You should go see, about Jesus. And it's like, dude, I'm saved. Okay, I'm good. Just because I don't go to church doesn't mean I don't respect the Lord.
Exactly,
I do.
yeah.
Like, so it's always like that. But I've never had one. But I knew someone who was in the church business embezzling money, and they'll be out in about 6 years.
Okay.
Of custody.
All right.
Yeah.
Some money on his commission, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Commissary. I don't know, man.
The side parts, you know what I'm saying?
So watching this film again in my 30s and shit, mid 30s, whatever you, and I like the film a lot. It's a good film. It's actually a hilarious film. It's relatable. Even if you're not like from LA, you like you said, there's people who are similar to those characters that you knew or hung out with. I think it's films like these in particular that should like be at a higher hierarchy in film, especially in comedy, man, because there's a lot of like for instance, man, like one of my favorite critics is Roger Ebert. I love the way he writes about movies and shit. You can tell this is a man who like lives and breathes film. And he didn't like this film he gave this film 2.5 out of 4 stars. And I understand from his point of view why he gave it that rating. And it's not like he didn't dislike it, but it was a thing for him that why does a movie have to like in the third act? Why does there need to be some type of violence to kind of like resolve a situation or resolve the conflict? And at some point I would have agreed with him. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, why the fuck can't like they do something different? But I remember LA film. This is a hood film to like the minimum degree. Fuck, man, like it would behoove you not to take on some street justice on people like Debo.
Right.
Especially in that film.
Exactly.
And it's something that kind of needed to happen.
Yeah. I mean, and ironically, interesting fact, F. Gary Gray said he wished he could have redid the fight scene because it just didn't feel kind of like not as realistic to him.
And you can kind of see that.
Yeah.
Really.
So.
And the carnation.
Yeah. Like he said, like the fight sequence itself,
yeah.
He feels it could have been did a little bit better.
Yeah.
And I mean, think about it. That's where you learn. And it's one thing about filmmaking. You learn as you go. And I mean, that's his first film. So now he looks at times, he can look back and go like, oh, okay. I mean, that was a first for a lot of people. I mean, that's Ice Cube's first comedy role. If you look
straight up. Even though he was kind of funny in Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
Years prior, which to me, the perfect film.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My God.
Yeah, man. I might need to redo that one with you.
I'm down.
All right. Let's do that. But hey, that fight scene in itself is iconic, bro.
Yeah.
Get to see a big man go down. Got the whole little neighborhood like cheering Craig on, and not like stepping in. Like what I love about John Witherspoon's character in that film, and like it's crazy how like films like that too were like, let's just say Menace to Society and Boys in the Hood. There's not a lot of like a like a paternal presence with the exception of what's I forgot his name, man. He basically played the father in Boys in the Hood. I fucking forgot
Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
Gotta have a fatherly figure, but when you compare that guy to Craig's dad,
Yeah.
two different fucking worlds.
Yeah,
but
Furious was strict,
Yeah.
like to a T. But it's understandable because it's like he's trying to make sure his son is not making the mistakes that he's seeing the other boys are making.
Yeah.
Where John Witherspoon, he was strict and like, hey, be about your business, but he also was a goofball. You know, like, which is funny. So mentioned on the first cut. So do you remember the scene in the movie where the dad is asking Craig, Willie's asking Craig to come inside the house.
Yeah.
And like the sister Debbie's like, hey, daddy wants you. So first time he goes in there, and it's not in this cut, but it was in the original cut. He goes, oh, hey, can you grab me the remote and the TV guide? And like John Witherspoon is laying on the bed watching TV, so he makes Craig go from all the way to the front of the house to get that. So in that next scene,
my dad was like that sometimes, bro.
So again, he calls him again, and he's all like, hey, give me a glass of water. So you know that infamous scene where the ice cube drops, and I'm just like, that's how you do. Like, so there's that. There was like, so in the original cuts, there was like a couple of more John Witherspoon scenes that I found were funny that were cut out, and they're lost now.
But is that what in the bootleg version you saw?
Yes, in that bootleg.
Damn, what the fuck?
So what I'm assuming is that has to be the test cut.
Do you still have it?
I do not have that bootleg. I don't know if my cousin even has it, so that's what I'm saying. It's probably lost somewhere.
That's a gem, bro. Honestly.
So someone has it, dude, upload it something. Because like the director's cut that they have on Blu-ray, they added some of the scenes in there. Like there's a scene where Chris it's even in the, because I remember, because I had it on VHS, I had it on DVD, and I have it on Blu-ray. Obviously I stream it. But like on one of the deleted scenes on the DVD, I don't know if it's on the director's cut now.
Okay.
But there's one where you remember where they were trying when Smokey's like, you ain't got no sugar. Damn. He goes to his mom's house and gets the sugar, and the mom is talking shit like, he got both a mama and a daddy. They got a job, and he's all like, Mama, no. And then there's, when Smokey's going back to the house with the sugar, he goes, hey, Craig, I'm gonna go see what kind of panties your sister wearing. Hey, get out of here. You know, like there's stuff in that movie where it's like the deleted scenes where it's like they're funny, and I understood why it just couldn't go flow with the movie because maybe at the time running and everything, but like the deleted scenes and then that first cut in the bootleg version, there's some gems in that are just hilarious.
Now, my only question, well, not my question or a concern. Actually, it is a question. Now, you've seen all these cuts, right? I don't know what I've seen, but I've seen what I've seen on HBO Max, what I've seen on HBO. I don't know if they're two different cuts or all together.
Now that's the
same cut, I believe, right?
That's the theater cut.
The theatrical, yeah,
that's the theatrical cut.
You can tell too when you watch it, because like even the credits shake a little bit and shit. You can tell it's film. So now, you said there was a lot of hilarious moments, and some obviously didn't make the cut.
Right.
I like this film. I like where it goes. I honestly feel that some of the scenes, I'm not saying that they don't work, but like they don't really work to push the story forward. Like in filmmaking and in screenwriting, they say that like every time like an actor acts or whenever there's a scene going on, it has to push the story forward somehow.
Right.
A lot of these scenes do not push the story forward, which obviously when you watch it, you don't give a fuck, right? Because you're laughing. And honestly, that's what kind of counts for the most part, right? Like getting entertained by it. Now, do you see that? Do you, and not only, now, do you see that, and not only do you see it, but like, you care?
Honestly, I don't care.
Good.
No, because it's like you're watching the movie, and from what you kind of see on the technical standpoint, some parts don't mix, but like
that carnation fucking carton.
Yeah.
That shit's all painted on. Dude, and I noticed that the other day too, and I saw it, I was like, and it's on camera, and I'm like, he's getting away with this shit? Yeah. And that makes me feel good, though.
Yeah.
As a filmmaker and shit.
Yeah, like, okay, for one part, so the flashback scene where Smokey and Hector are having a smoke, and Smokey realizes Angel does. If you notice, there's a guy in the back, right? Watch it. The car scene, the black and white scene. There's a guy sitting in the background on his porch. Movie directors asked him, hey, we're trying to clear the scene, you know, like this. Guy would not move. They offered him money. No.
Damn.
He just, you know, they said, hey, we'll offer you money and have a walk on in the scene. No. He just literally wanted to sit down with his homie and smoke. And they said, fuck it, we're going to film around it.
Right, right.
And it just fit. It fit honestly for that scene.
Okay, I got to rewatch that
like,
flashback.
You look at it, it goes, you know, Makoto Machotos, you know, you're like, you look at it and you see that background. It's like, oh man, like there's a lot of stuff in that movie that I realized and people have picked up. Like, okay, for example, so when Joy, who is Ice Cube's love interest, calls him up in the morning. So it's like, who the fuck you went to the show with? If you notice, there's a picture of Craig on the bed, but there's another dude on the bed.
Dude, it took like, cause I've a certain point I've noticed it.
Right.
But after like fucking the first 10,000 viewings or whatever, never did I fucking notice that shit until somebody on fucking Instagram been like, look, you see that?
And it's like,
tripped me out.
So again, that relates a lot because everyone knows there's a girl who got a dude and got a side dude on the side who is just like sleeping on the bed, doing the bare minimum.
Right.
Probably it's like an air mattress king, and then got trying to like school down on Craig, and Craig knows. He's all like, why am I dealing with this girl?
You ain't got to lie, Craig.
Yeah, you ain't got to lie, but it's like,
lie.
girl, you doing the most. So there's a lot in that film. Like you see every. That's
now tell me who she was.
Exactly. And the thing,
man, your cousin.
and the funny thing about that is like one thing what I really relate is like I can relate to every character in that movie because I know there's someone who is like Smokey's mom. There's someone who is like Smokey. There is someone who is like Craig's mom, Betty. Someone who is like Dana. Like everything in that movie. There's someone like a Stanley who lives in the hood, really trying to keep himself, got the money but acts bougie, but like going in the right place and time, you know he'll back down from a fight.
Right.
So it's like you have a lot of those like get off my lawn. Like you can that's just one thing with me is that that's why I think I love that movie so much because it's like every character I've seen that or experienced it in my life.
Okay.
So it's like there's nothing about it. That's why to me it's my favorite movie because it's like I can watch it and have a bad day and laugh at like, even a particular scene. You know, I mean, like ironically, Michael Clark Duncan was in that movie.
Yep.
So it's like an
uncredited.
Yeah, like there was even like an additional cut of that part scene. So it's just like
I've seen that before actually.
Yeah. So you know you like that's one thing that's like I wish someone had that like original cut. Maybe F. Gary Gray has it.
I'm sure he fucking has it, bro.
You know because I actually finally saw it on film a few years ago.
At the New Bev?
Yes.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yes, and at the end of it, they showed, hey, we got to keep them heads ringing. Like Smokey's talking on the New Line intros, like stay tuned after the movie. We got a few music videos for y'all. So
that's tight.
So it's crazy. It's like, damn, man, you know. But it's like, all right, Tarantino, you got to talk a deal with F. Gary Gray. Get the cut, you know. So
it's quite a cut to buy, man.
Yeah,
or to borrow, license, whatever.
I really wish my cousin still had that bootleg.
Damn, dude, you had a bootleg Friday
bootleg VHS copy, bro,
with a different cut
and no tracking number on it. Like it was like
perfect,
like a screener cut. Like picture was clear, everything. I was just like,
man, we gotta. Where's your cousin at, dude?
Hey, Florida now. Right, unfortunately,
gotta get him on the horn. And shit, man.
Be like, hey, you still got that, dude? What's going on, man?
I was just with Gary last night. Now, is this your favorite Gary Gray film, dude?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, he's done a couple of films since then.
He's done a couple since then. I mean, he did Straight Outta Compton. Straight Outta Compton was great. I
actually do like Straight Outta Compton. Besides with like all the controversies, whether, you know, why did they put this in? How come they didn't make this like this? You know?
Yeah.
Still a good fucking flick.
Yeah,
man.
like, you know, like the only thing I have about Straight Outta Compton is that like it's not timely accurate.
That's...
You know,
yeah.
And I get that of the movie, but I'm just like, that didn't happen at that time. That didn't happen at this time, you know, but, and, you know, kind of like not to go too far on that, you know, it's like, here's Dr. Dre, big part. Yep. Here's Ice Cube, big part. Here's Eazy-E, big part. Small on DJ MC Ren. Sorry, Ren. No disrespect. Small parts on DJ Ren, small parts on DJ Yella, but you have more on Jerry Heller and you have more on Suge Knight. So I was just like, I mean, come on, dude.
I mean, Jerry Heller was a prominent figure.
I mean,
career of Eazy alone, right?
Yeah, I mean, very interesting cat. But
Very.
it's
Had
just
him in the studio.
and it's funny because people will talk about how when Ice Cube left NWA there wasn't the same, and yeah, of course,
Yeah.
but I still will bump F4 Zaggin all the time. Like, that's a great album, like just like Straight Outta Compton is and stuff. But
Wait. Isn't it called? Can you say?
no, we're not gonna say it.
Come on, dude. Hey, Sean. Let me ask you.
Okay,
Very off topic.
I'll say the title.
No, don't say the title. That's not where I'm going at. Now, if this film were to be written today, would the term YN be prominent in the dialogue, or would it still keep it like in that fucking between Normandy and Western, 2020?
See, I wouldn't want it to be written in today. I can't. Just the way how now comedy is very different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's now more a lot of social media guys who are getting big off doing skits online, and they're doing comedy. But it's a big jump for them because some of them are good on stage, and then some are they're just terrible.
Yeah.
It's to a point where they're having to do 2-for-1 tickets on their shows because that's how bad the ticket sales are. I don't know if Friday could be like First Friday be written today. I mean, yeah, it could, but
I think it could.
But just YNs around. I'm just like, if we're doing LA now,
Like, you see the kids with the fucking masks now?
yeah, like with the what's those things called?
Ski mask?
No, there was another thing. Fuck, I can't even think about it on top of my
I
head
don't even
right
know,
now.
man.
Yeah, like you having all those type of masks and the really tight clothes because you look up there,
Yeah.
everybody was wearing more loose fitting baggy clothes that they got from the sauce and swap meet. Here, it's like more tight fitting, the more tattoos, just kind of like the culture. I don't know, man. Like, could it be written? Yeah, but would it be as impactful as it was in '95? I don't know.
Now, Big Worm,
Right, played by Faison Love.
classic character.
Right.
Was Big Worm the character? Let's be real. He wasn't a fucking asshole.
No, he really
He
wasn't.
really was not.
He really wasn't.
He was just playing by the fucking code, bro. A lot of people tend to disagree that.
Worm stuck by the code. He was about his business. It was like,
Yeah.
keep these emotions out of it. I'm running a business. This is how I pay my bills. This is how I take care of my family. And you notice on the other side too, he had an ice cream truck. So he was hustling.
Yeah.
And that's what a true hustler in the hood is. They go by the book. They go by the code. Smokey was bullshit. Smokey was not doing his business as a responsibility in Big Worm's partnership.
Yeah.
So
And then fucking dragging Craig along.
dragging Craig along, and Craig has to figure it out how to help him because he's going to be a real friend and not tell him to go fuck off. But I know cats who will tell cats, "Hey, fuck off! You got into this bullshit yourself. You fucked up. You need to get out of it." Like, Craig's a real friend saying, "I got your back. Let's figure something out. Let's figure out how to do this." But Worm was about his paper, and that's one thing. Like, people can talk shit, like that one line in the ice cream truck. What the fuck that got to do with me?
Love that line.
I use that line so much.
I think I've heard you say that on occasion over here.
Maybe once or twice, but it's like even when I'm working in my corporate job and I'm just looking at things, I'm going, what the fuck this got to do with me? And now I'm like, oh wait, corporate. Okay, let's figure this out, guys.
Yeah. Like when sometimes I listen to the Brown Bat podcast
Right.
on the radio and shit, on Power. And then they'll be talking about Chris Brown's tweet. I'm like, what the fuck's that got to do with me, dude? Why are they talking about this period, dude?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, but
it's I guess for them it's filler. But again, keep saying, I can relate to everything in that movie. Even at times I'm a big worm. Not fully like that. I would have a strap and trying to threaten someone's life. But I'm like, look, I have a deadline. I need to get paid.
Yeah.
Here's my invoice. Send it over. Or I'm at work. I'm like, hey, I'm on my business right now. I got a quota to meet. I gotta export all this stuff over here. Or I gotta figure. Yeah, exactly. Worm. He's like, hey, I ain't part of this.
Yeah,
but
you
then
are
it's
now, dude.
Exactly. You are now.
But a scene like that needed to happen so the
film is because
so the story can push forward and see some tension and be like, so what the fuck are they gonna do now with their day? So they got no shit to do, right?
Yeah, now you have something to do. Now you have to figure out how to come up with this money,
How to stay alive, man.
and stay alive. I mean, think about it. Okay, so
Be your last Friday.
excuse me, I burped. The drive-by scene. You know who was one of the shooters in that movie?
In the van, right?
Yeah,
Okay, what's up?
Dub C. When he goes, damn, that's Dub C.
I had a feeling it was Dub C, but I wasn't sure because I was like, that fool looks familiar, dog.
Look at the credits. It'll credit him as his full name, William Calhoun, but that's him.
Okay.
And
okay. All right. All right.
Ironically enough, Dub C worked on Snowfall. He
Yep.
was the dialect coach.
Yep.
When I saw that, I was like, no wonder this shit is fucking amazing.
Yeah, right.
So,
And it's funny that you bring up Snowfall. So
yeah.
you mentioned Snowfall. So we have Freeway Ricky Ross on the Dr. Green Thumb show. Shout out to him.
Oh, word.
Yeah, this was like maybe about 2 years ago or something like that.
I gotta check that out, man.
Check it out.
Yeah.
So he said this one thing that I actually clipped, right?
Right.
Where when he was barely getting into the fucking game, right, in the hood and all that shit, he talked about how he was like kind of like he was he knew like the big dealer there at that time, right? So he was talking about how like, man, I hung out with dudes who like fucking they'll kill you for $2.
Right.
And long story short, he says it's the principle.
Yeah.
It's the principle. And when I heard that shit, I was thinking, Friday, Big Worm.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it's the principle that it's like, hey, you're a man, you're on your feet. It's the principle of doing things, you know. It's like, okay, perfect story. When I needed to make some changes in my life, I had to stay on my feet, on my own 2 feet, and says, hey, I have to figure this out myself. And that's like a test you have as any man. You're going to go through that test in life.
yeah.
So it's about having principle, having, you know, discipline, having structure, having integrity. Worm was never in the wrong. He was like, hey, it's about the principle. This is about like this. And like, if worse comes to worse, if I got to deal with you in only other ways, there's no other way to be dealt. It has to be this way.
Yeah.
He didn't want to go to the point, but he's like, hey, man, I'm not playing about my money. I have things that they need to be met.
Yeah.
And other people here are taking care of business for me. Why aren't you taking care of your business? Smokey just wanted the bullshit, and look what happened.
Can I get my chili Fritos?
You can't have shit, fat boy. I'm closed. Then give me my money back. My money.
Mama!
See?
Yeah.
Everybody can relate to that.
I hate him. Nah, I don't hate him.
I couldn't hate Warren, man. I couldn't. I hated Debo. Debo had no respect.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm going to intimidate anyone. I'll do whatever I want, because if you're going to talk shit to me, I'll just knock you the fuck out.
Yeah.
Worm was on that, but Worm was more of a stand-up reserve person. Like, hey, you got my money. Hey, what's up?
I kind of wish there was something with Worm and Debo. You know, two different worlds and shit, right?
I actually thought that something would happen like that with Next Friday. And then when Next Friday came out and you just had kind of the a third of the cast.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, from that movie Come Back, you only have Debo, Craig, Pops, and I think Stanley in the little cameo. But like, you got to think, from the majority of that movie, that was an entirely new cast. And
yeah.
I love Next Friday. I like
Next Friday. It's cool.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like, you're introduced to Mike Epps. Mike Epps is fucking hilarious and stuff. So
all about the Benjamins.
I just watched that the other day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, when he goes the shower scene, he's like, we gonna fuck you up. He's just like, I'm shivering, but keep talking, motherfucker. Like, let me get that with the screwdriver, because everyone you see with that one, like the screwdriver part where Mike Epps gets to story, he's like, everybody want to do that to this one person. Just come on, get it here.
My favorite line in that film when he's talking to the fucking clerk and he's like, I'm gonna start going to Dwight's. Dwight who?
Dwight around your lip.
I'm just kidding. Mr.
Yeah, I love that movie. So,
yeah, man.
Yeah, man. It's
fucking Friday, man.
Yeah, it's classic.
Classic film. I think it came out on a Friday, if I'm not mistaken, man.
It came out on a Friday. Budget was $3 million. It made $6 million its first week.
That's great.
Yeah. Overall, it did like $28 million in the box office. Like, you're 8 times your budget. Like, bro. And
you did something right.
Right. And the crazy part is, it went bigger on VHS, obviously, like the VHS sales. I don't know if we talked about it. Did we talk about who was going to play Smokey?
Oh, before we started recording, no, we didn't.
Yeah, so
I think you might have mentioned something about he was going to get replaced or something like that.
No, so at first, the first choice for Smokey was supposed to be DJ Pooh, but New Line Cinema thought, okay, he's not experienced enough, so let's try someone else.
Oh, he's all right, but
so
you know.
At first it was going to be between Chris Rock and Tommy Davidson. And that didn't work out. And Ice Cube watched an episode of Def Comedy Jam and saw Chris Tucker on there, who was killing it.
That's crazy.
And he got that. I mean, think about it. Like, you look how many, like, with speaking of comedians, all the comedians I mentioned in there, most of those comedians were on Def Jam.
Right, like Bernie Mac.
Bernie, I mean, I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. I mean, that's the first line he said. You knew he was already ready. He's like, I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
What's up? Like that to me, when he said that,
I miss that guy.
oh my god!
I mean,
dude.
out of all the black comedians or just comedians in general, dog, like him, dude, like why couldn't it be fucking like Pete Davidson who died, bro? Seriously.
I don't wish.
Nah, come on, dude.
I don't-
Seriously.
look,
Or fucking Bert Kreischer, dog.
Okay.
Really? We're going to have a fat ass fucking guy talking about his fucking, how he's all, you know what? Me drinking is cool and shit. We got fucking talent. Bernie Mac played a dad, played a preacher, played all kinds of shit.
Okay.
Fucking baseball player, dude.
Yeah. Okay.
For 3,000?
Okay. I wouldn't wish.
300,
I wouldn't wish death on anyone, but I'll tell you, three comedians.
You know what I mean, dude?
Three comedians who are mid, and I wish they would never do comedy again. Number one is Andrew Schultz. Fuck him.
Thank you.
Number two is Tony Hinchcliffe.
Thank you.
He's fucking awful. And having to see that during WrestleMania weekend in Vegas and the roast of WrestleMania, I was just like, you are not funny. Andrew Schultz, you're not funny. And Carlos Mencia, for obvious reasons. They're all mid.
Izon just stepped into the house. He is actually a fan of Carlos Mencia.
Izod, I love you, but I'm going to let you get a pass on that one.
Shout out to Izon.
Yeah, shout out to Izon, 100%.
He's
man.
my one of my favorite YNs. Dude.
Yeah. Sir, hey, one of my favorite good dudes. Ezon's always a good dude, man. I've known him for years, and you know, we used to clash heads like brothers and stuff. But that's what brothers do, you know. But at the end of the day, Ezon wants to get in a fight, and I'm there. I'm all like, hey, man, what's up? Who we got to give a fade to? Let's go.
Yo, Izon, should we have Shaun on the We Don't Smoke the Same podcast someday?
I'm down. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's schedule it out one day.
Yeah,
man.
let's do it, man. I'm up for it.
Yeah, I know you got stories, dog.
Stories that we can talk
Yeah, stories
about.
that you can actually share. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not talking about those. No, let's not get into that. No,
Well, you're saying it, not me, dog.
not me.
Anyways, I love Friday. If it was my rating, I would give it 3.5 out of 4 stars. You obviously know why, because there's some scenes that they don't push the story
I get
forward, even though it's fucking hilarious. But the movie is hilarious. When you watch it, it makes you kind of want to watch it again, and not for like the comedy value, but just the writing alone, man. It's like you said, it's a good comedy. Like it's hard to write comedy that makes it so seamless and like it's not even written at all.
And that's the
now
problem.
you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the lines that Bernie Mac had,
Right.
was that ad-libbed or was that on the script?
I
was told that he like did it on the spot type of thing.
I read somewhere that majority of Friday, like a lot of those lines were improvised by all of them.
Okay,
So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised with Bernie and his lines.
And John.
It's just like, hey, John, Smokey. I mean, Chris Tucker itself. So I wouldn't be surprised about that. So if that was like that, then kudos to them on that. Just saying like, hey, this is where the situation we're at. This is the scene. Make magic.
Yeah.
I mean, Scorsese did that with Goodfellas. You know, some of those lines were improvised. Even like Casino, some of those lines were improvised. So I love improvise. If you can improvise and knock it out of the park, go.
And make 3 times your budget, or 2 times your budget, whatever.
8 times the budget in theatrical run, and then think about how much they made on home video.
And then we're still talking about it to this day, right
30
now.
years later.
30 years, dog?
Yeah.
Damn.
Came out 30 years ago.
Yeah, it came out like about
95.
2 weeks ago recently, right?
Yeah, 95. So it's like you got to think about the lasting impression that has made, and it's has influenced generations. I mean, the music itself. I mean, some of the songs they had on there, those were expensive to get licensed.
Oh, yeah. And it's crazy how you say that because, like, rewatching the film, right, paying attention to everything, and I'm like, fuck, bro, like, these tunes, like, fucking Pretty Penny, bro.
Yeah, and New Line Cinema said, fuck it, we're going to do it. And actually, New Line Cinema was, like, the last studio to give them the budget because they were going to do it ultra low budget for, like, $75,000 and put it in black and white before they got New Line Cinema on. So imagine that if it was going to be super low budget, they was going to self-finance and self-release it because I believe Cube and Pooh were writing it while Cube was touring in Europe. You know,
obviously, the most expensive thing probably would have been the fucking drive-by scene, right? Because you're actually they can be using blanks, but you can tell, you can hear the fucking noise, bro.
Yeah, and I mean even they're saying like the misfire from Smokey's pencil, they had that in ADR. Big Worm's actually Lowrider. A guy owned it. A local cat in LA owned it, and he sold it to some cats in Japan. And then they said later on, the guy who owned that Lowrider was unfortunately
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
But thank you for your contribution to the film of Friday.
Thank you.
We both enjoy it.
Yes.
Man, this film, being that it's 30 years old now, should get the attention of, the U.S. Library or Congress.
Yes.
Honestly, it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's earned its place.
Yeah.
It's not just a hood film or an LA film. It's a comedy film, and it's very relatable. Honestly, films like these, I would sort of think that it's the black version of the French New Wave.
Yeah, like if you look at that movie, black people can relate to it, white people can relate to it, Latinos, Asians, Polynesians, Samoans, Tongans, Asian, like everybody can relate to that movie in one way or another with a character. Like even if you're rich, you're poor, you're in between, you're gonna relate to that movie. It's just a relatable movie.
Remember the liquor store clerk?
Yes.
Then you got F. Gary Gray with the fucking with the fucking mop, dude.
And you know what's interesting in that? So you notice how one more bit. Yeah. Smokey's attire, right? They had it blue because it was in a Crip neighborhood.
Okay, so I was actually gonna ask you about that. Go on.
So no, go ahead. That's what I wanted to mention.
Yeah, like, well, not the setting of the film, right? But like the setting of the actual locations. Right. It's in the fucking Crip neighborhood, right? Mm-hmm. For the most part.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Yeah, so they were just trying to be respectful around that. Like they even said there were some drive-bys around, but never on the set.
Right.
So for that, that's keeping respectful, and
Plus, when you got Cube on set, bro, I mean, come on, there's some respect towards that.
And what I had said earlier, Stanley was actually Ice Cube's bodyguard in real life. And
crazy.
From the stories I heard, you did not want to mess with Muhammad.
And it's funny because he just does not. They did a really good job to make him like seem like the character that he is, right? As opposed to how he is in real life.
Yeah,
I've
seen photos of how he is with Cube, and I'm just like, oh dang. I'm like,
is he taller than Cube?
Huh?
Is he taller than Cube?
I think he was probably a little bit taller than Cube.
Okay, because I mean, usually, I would see fucking Devo fucking bodyguard. And
so
Ice Cube, you know.
So seeing that was just hearing all the stories of that, and he actually did some acting himself in some of Ice Cube's other movies. He was in Players Club. Yep. And he was obviously in Next Friday.
I've seen the Players Club recently for the first time, and
that is a dark.
That's
movie.
A dark ass fucking. Even though Ice Cube's not a big player in that fucking film.
Yeah, he's a pivotal part in some scenes in that movie where it takes it
to the third act.
The third act, where it's just like, yikes. Yeah. It's a great movie. I like Players Club. That's Cube's director movie, but it's a dark movie. I was like, I cannot watch that like I would watch Friday on the regular.
Yeah, that part that we're kind of talking about without actually mentioning it. Yeah, it's
intense.
It's intense, bro. And salutations to that, because like it's films like those that like we talk about it. Yeah. And it's in some cases, to some people in life, man, that shit's actually happened to them before. And that sucks.
Exactly. I experienced that, and
I was shocked to. I didn't think that was gonna happen, dude. Seriously, I thought they were gonna like beat her ass and that's it and just bounce. But
it's sad because that does happen a lot. A lot of people don't talk about it. They keep that to themselves in trauma forever. But that's kind of the sad side of that type of industry.
George Perez, he actually wants me to review that film with him. Because him being
I say go for it.
Yeah, I've been trying, but he's been a busy man.
I'm gonna tune into that one.
All right.
Definitely for sure.
If you can't do it, then let's do it.
All right. Hey, have you did Casino yet?
Casino's next, bro. Not next, but like it's in my rearview mirror, man.
I went in.
Okay.
Because
all right, let's do it with E-Zone and Xavier, because Xavier's a fucking gambler.
I'm all for it. I'm for it. I mean,
let's do it.
That's one of my all-time favorite movies. I actually watched that movie. Well, I didn't watch it, but I had it playing while I was in Vegas.
Right.
Just driving.
Perfect.
Just like getting in the mood. Like I'm going to Vegas. Because it's classic, and I got something to say about Ginger.
We all do, right? We all know a Ginger, or know somebody who was a Ginger.
We all knew, or we dated, quote unquote, a Ginger in our lives. We've also dated a Jenny.
Damn. Yeah, for real, man.
Yeah.
Sir, what would you give Friday? A 4 out of 4? 10 out of 10?
4 out of 4 is my favorite movie.
11 out of 10?
Like my top 5 favorite movies get whatever out perfect scores.
Of course.
So it's like Friday is like my favorite comedy. Then you would have Goodfellas / Casino / Godfather 2. And then you have Pulp Fiction.
Nice.
And then Fight Club.
It's up there, man.
Yeah. So those are
I think Fight Club was on the new Bevs recently, if I'm not mistaken.
Shut the fucking front door.
I think so. I have to double check, man.
See, I want to go back there soon. You know,
Well, I mean, I follow him on Instagram. I always check every month, like,
Yeah.
hey, what's new? What's new?
let me ask you this:
So-
have you seen Sinners yet?
No, you know, Pedro downstairs
Yeah.
loathes Michael B. Jordan. Loathes him.
He doesn't like him.
Doesn't like him, but
What?
Dom and I, we were all talking, right? Like, you know, let's just go see it, bro.
Right.
Let's go see the 70 millimeter IMAX. It's in probably like 2 weeks from now and shit.
Right. Oh, you guys haven't seen it yet.
Not yet. You seen it, right?
I saw it over the weekend.
What'd you think?
I fucking loved it.
Okay.
I want to see it again, and I want to see it in the IMAX 70 millimeter.
Yeah.
Because you know me, the film nerd in us.
Yeah.
You know, we like seeing like the IMAX and the film cuts. Like, I need to say, and plus two, when I saw it, there was 3 people in front of me and my lady, and these people were staying on their fucking phones and talking. And usually, like me, I'll usually be like, "Hey, shut the fuck up!" But I was
Right.
trying to be all cool, Billy D. Williams.
Yeah, because you're with your
style.
lady too, you know?
Yeah.
Gotta keep it respect.
And like, they were just talking. I'm just like, I'm about to slap that motherfucker out. But I was trying to be all cool. And the funny thing is, here's the thing I don't know about. Okay. Movies like that, I want to go to the quote unquote white people theater. Why? Because they ain't motherfuckers on their phones and all that shit. And it happened there in the white people theater.
Interesting.
Now, I'll go see Friday in a white people theater, but I wouldn't have fun. I'll go see Friday in the hood because I know cats are going to be
A blast, bro.
It's going to be a blast. People are going to be laughing. People are going to be smoking. You're like, yeah, you're going to have some loud motherfuckers there, but it's going to be a party, you know?
So when I went to see Straight Outta Compton, like in theaters for the
Right.
first time and all that, I saw it at that theater by the Westfield Mall, the one in Culver City.
Yeah, I know which one
You know
you're
that
talking
theater they built and all that
Yeah.
shit? Shit was a packed house full of brothers and sisters.
Yep.
And you know, when the moments happen, they're just like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
You know, going fucking crazy. It wasn't like a popcorn throwing thing, but
Yeah.
it was wild. And I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Because I expected it, for one, not to sound like racist or anything, but like you knew what you were going to expect with like the demographic that you're going to be in, because at the end of the day, you go to the movie to be one, to see the fucking film.
Yeah, like there's just
Enjoy
some parts of that movie, you know, in theaters. Some theaters you have to go to, you
Yeah.
know, to be quiet, and then some you know you need to go because it's gonna be lit. So it's like, okay, you're gonna smoke your joint before you go in. You're gonna drink a OE, or what's that new thing? Beatbox. I actually discovered Beatbox recently, and I love those.
You like it? Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's something about that after. It's something about just that like sticky aftertaste.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I can't get over it.
I had it when I was walking up to WrestleMania
Nice.
because I was like,
Wait, what flavor? What flavor?
I got the blueberry.
Okay.
And I was like, I'll be damned if I spend $20, $30, $40 on beers at Allegiant. I was like, fuck, I'm getting drunk
My
right
favorite
now.
one, if I had to pick a favorite, watermelon.
Okay, I haven't tried that one yet. I will
But I
try.
had it fucking cold as fuck, bro.
Now, here's what's sad. The day before, because WrestleMania was 2 days, so that was Sunday. Saturday, I was walking up drinking some apple cider moonshine. Oh, no, apple pie moonshine. So I set my cup down because my friend was taking a picture of me. Some kid in a MAGA hat kicks my drink down.
Like on purpose?
Like just like kicks it. And I'm like, hey man, are you gonna say excuse me or I'm sorry for kicking the drink? That's not cool.
He's a kid? Like a kid?
No, he was like a full grown adult.
Oh, okay. Don't say kid if he's an adult.
No,
bro.
but I'm calling. He's like a kid in mine. I'm unk age,
All right,
so
all right.
you know,
Sorry,
like a YN. You know, I'm just like, but
Okay, all right.
but white, but
A WN.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm like, hey, he ain't gonna say nothing. And I'm just like, you fucking piece of shit, MAGA Mark. And like people are like, let him cook. I'm all like, you probably like Hulk Hogan, you piece of shit.
Damn.
I'm all like, I'm not expecting for you to buy me another drink. I could buy another drink. I
Yeah.
could buy 10 drinks, right?
It's the principle.
It's the principle of being a man and saying, hey, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I made a fault. It's the principle of that. And I hope that kid, you know what, Ray?
What's up, man?
I should have did something. I should have did to stay humble.
Oh, yeah, you know.
Sometimes
Especially-
you need to stay humble, which is the principle.
Especially in WrestleMania.
You can't be kicking the drink down, man. The drink costs expensive. People want to be lit up, man.
Man, who are you, Hogan?
Yeah,
Shit.
for
And
real.
And with that note, Shaun, you have any shout outs, man? Thank you. Hey, honestly, thank you for coming through.
Thank you, man.
I mean,
I appreciate
it's
it.
cool that you hit me up about it because I don't know who listens to my shit, bro. I just put it out because I like talking about movies and
Yeah,
talking
man.
shit.
I've always been a fan of your stuff.
Thank you.
You know, it's
Glad we did this, and I'm sure this is not gonna be the fucking last one.
It's not, man. It's
got a whole list to go.
It feels like how we were used to work on smoke boxes
Now,
back in the day.
I'm gonna sound fucked up by saying this, man, but
go ahead.
are you down to review W.D. Griffith's? You know where I'm going with this?
Go.
I forgot the name of the film. What's the name of the film? I forgot.
Don't tell me that one movie.
That one.
Is it the one in the 1920s?
The one that even the president at that time screened it in his personal White House theater in front of all kinds of other schmoes.
Ooh.
It's an iconic ass film.
I know, but
for the wrong reasons.
For the wrong reasons.
But it's crazy how like certain films existed because
you know
it just had to be existed to like.
You had to, I watched it in film school.
Like some films need to be dispelled. You know what I'm saying?
I watched it in film school, so
yeah,
and I
here.
was like, you know, but you have to watch it and you have to understand it. You have to take your ego and your personal beliefs out from it and have to understand it. Yeah, I'm down. We can watch
that's
that.
The thing. Like,
I mean, fuck him forever, but still,
it's hard to like separate the art from the artist, especially if you're racist. And I mean, look at Kanye, dude. Like, we don't know what the fuck this guy stands for anymore.
Hey, man, no comment.
I know he broke your heart, dog. I know. As a man, he broke your heart.
He's in that row of Hulk Hogan. I'm just like,
fucking loves Hulk Hogan.
Like, dude, I grew up watching Hulk Hogan and ripping my shirt, and my mom getting pissed at me for ripping a shirt as a kid. Now you on video or recording saying nigger, like, excuse the word. I'm just like,
I'll bleep it.
I'm like, you piece.
I won't bleep it.
Don't bleep it. I'm like, you piece of shit, dude. Fuck you, asshole.
Fuck you.
Exactly. But anything, I just want to give a shout out to everybody who's listening. Ray's followers, Be Real TV followers, my followers. Thank you very much for tuning into this. If you don't follow me, if you haven't followed me yet, check me out on Instagram at Shaun Vizzy. That's ShaunVizzy. I do some photography, kind of some little bit of rock and roll bands, you know, a couple of hip hop artists, some wrestling stuff, some drum stuff. Yeah. But yeah, man, that's it. But and that's all on my socials as well: Twitter, TikTok. Do I still use Twitter? I don't know. I definitely use TikTok lately, so go on that. So yeah, check me out, Shaun Vizzy.
Yeah, check out Shaun Vizzy, man. He's a great guy, great photographer. He's a visionary, man. He really influenced me on some of my shit, for sure. Follow me at Morning Shot Films, IG and YouTube. This won't be the last film. We got way more to go.
And Ray, you've always been humble.
Thank you, dog. Bye, Felicia.